just see what we think we just saw?
If that doesn't give you chills, you're never going to get them.
As good as it gets.
Omaha, Nebraska on a Sunday night. An important game in League One at the top and bottom of the standings. Sergio Ars Navarro leading the Owls, second place on the table. 6 goals this year, tied most on the club. While Richmond's Darwin Espinal, 2 goals against the Cosmos, and the Kickers dreaming of a late season push. It's Richmond and Omaha next on CBS Sports Network. You're watching the USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. Beautiful day in the Midwest as Union Omaha welcomes the Richmond Kickers for a League One clash. The standings show that Charlotte now leads the way, but only by 1 point. Omaha can jump to the top with a win today, while the Richmond Kickers are bringing up the rear and need points soon to have a push toward the playoffs. And good evening, everyone. Joined by the former Big East Offensive Player of the Year, Ricky Lopez. Aspen, I'm Mike Watts. This is the point in the season where objectives begin to change. If you're the Richmond Kickers, it's relevance. And if you're Omaha, it's about getting another trophy.
We'll talk first about this Union Omaha side. Has eyes on winning a hardware at the end of this season. But for the Richmond Kickers, it's all about finding their identity under Brian Noemby, understanding that the last 2 games, they've done a really good job at picking up 6 points. And it's not all only about having the ability to shift into a 4-back system. It's all about the mindset, Mike. Having the ability to press teams, to go on and hunt the ball, what Brian Noemby said, meaning that they want to make teams uncomfortable. They want to win the ball high up the field, ultimately giving their playmakers opportunities to pick up the ball in around that 18-yard box, because this team does have talent to find the back of the net.
They've won their last 2 matches and try and carry that momentum on the road. Union Omaha is enjoying their new home. It's your old stomping grounds, Morrison Stadium.
Morrison Stadium, they've played 9 times, they've won 7, they've drawn 2, but understanding when they have the ball, they want to be expansive, and this field is wide, so it allows players more time and space and allows them to be a little bit more expansive higher up the field. And one thing that's for certain, when they do get in front of goal, they are ruthless and they are clinical for this Union Omaha side.
No one understands better what it means to play at home than Brent Coleman for Union Omaha.
It's pretty special for me to play here at Morrison Stadium. I'm not too sentimental of a person, but we trained here yesterday. Sometimes on match day -1 we train here, and I was getting a lot of flashbacks because it was a foggy morning, and I was picturing exact flashbacks of days like that when I was out here in college and we were just grinding, whether that was in the spring or in the fall. So it is special for me. I feel like I get a little bit of a boost, and then on top of all of that, I was born here. A lot of my family's here. I'll have plenty of family in the stands tonight. That's also something that gives me an extra push because, you know, I don't know how many games I have left, and I want to make them proud of me. These people that have been supporting me since I was here, what was that now, 15, 16 years ago.
Brent, appreciate the time, man. Wishing you all the best.
So Coleman and the Owls will have plenty of home support tonight against the Kickers, just trying to stay in the hunt for the USL League One playoffs. Middle of August, big game on tap. It's Richmond and Omaha next on CBS Sports Network. USL on CBS Sports is presented by Best Western. Omaha sits second to win today, takes them top of League One. Welcoming the Richmond Kickers, second from the bottom. Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Mike Watts. Vincenzo Candela, head coach for Union Omaha, putting out this 4-2-3-1. They're trying to make it 21 in a row unbeaten at home.
And the way that they're going to do that is finding Ors Navarro really early. He's going to stay high. He's going to occupy the two center backs for the Richmond Kickers, which will allow Vargas and Gomez underneath to fill in the gaps. One thing about Union Omaha is they're a team that wants to get on the ball, that wants to progress through the lines. So finding success in doing that's going to be crucial, because for the Richmond Kickers and Brian Ownby, understanding that they want to press. They want to make you very uncomfortable. So look for Vasquez and Freeman to set the press in terms of pushing higher. That will allow O'Malley to be work rate. Covering box to box, he's going to be really important, him and Barnathan, in that central location for the Richmond Kickers.
Could you ask for a more beautiful day in scenic Omaha than this? The home to the Creighton Blue Jays, who consistently are among the best in attendance in all of Division I men's collegiate soccer. Union Omaha has called it home this season for the first time. It's Omaha who gets the first touch. We're underway. League One on CBS Sports Network. It's Richmond taking on Omaha. Richmond coming off back-to-back wins, Ricky, and you get the feeling that the aggression that they started those two games against Alta and Cosmos with is precisely how they anticipate being competitive here today.
You and I had the ability to speak with Brian Ownby, and he said, look, we're going to start this game on the front foot, and we want them to feel us, especially within that front two. And it in. Good opportunity here for Richmond.
It's Bolduck playing early. Picked up by Anderson, who assisted the opening goal to Aspinall against the Cosmos just over a half hour in. It's 10 days ago. Gives Richmond a chance to rest up. Keep a consistent starting group. Reverse from Ors Navarro. I thought the major point that both coaches made in speaking about their style was dictating the game without the ball. What's that look like when both sides pride themselves on it?
Well, for Richmond, it's understanding that you want to keep Union Omaha in front of you. Understanding that you can make play predictable, and then you do not allow them to play through you. So the defensive set for Brian Ownby going to be really crucial, especially early on. And for this Union Omaha side, a team that wants to win the ball high up the field, so expect them to be really compact when they do press all over there together.
Sure that Braden Frey was hoping to have a less notorious start to the game than having the ball bounce off him. Lassie leads the officiating crew tonight. Omaha has made it 20 games unbeaten at home, previously playing at Werner Park, home to the minor league baseball team in Omaha. Have to go back to July last year for their last defeat. 21 would mark a new League One record for the regular season. Comes to Aspinall. Freeman was oscillated in and out of the lineup alongside Josh Kirkland the last 3 games. Gets the call again here. A whistle for the hop step from Harold Hansen.
Good work from Yunus Boudadi. They're the right back for Union Omaha. Omaha has 2 really aggressive outside backs. Gadiri, Boudadi have their freedom to push higher up the field and provide real quality in terms of their service. So the wide parts can be a point of emphasis for the home side.
Cavalanes. Oh, the run continues. Advantage played. Carried into the final third and last at goal. Somehow wide. Just a delicate touch from Jan Filion. Turns away the effort from Ors Navarro.
Changing the point of attack, starting on one side of the field, ending on the other. Fantastic work for Morris Navarro here. And as he shifts his body right here, opens up that far post, but that is a wonderful save from Villion. Down to his right-hand side, just to push it wide and nearly get it wide of his goal, but good effort from the striker, understanding that if you can drive at this back line of Richmond, you can find success for Omaha.
Villion's second in the league in saves this season for Richmond. Corner to Omaha. Skittered into a dangerous spot. Wotton couldn't get beneath it. There's Boudadi. One of the many Creighton alumni involved in this game, from the booth to the field. I assume you've got very fond memories of playing here.
The best memories. Once you have the ability to play at Morrison, do not want to leave. Every opportunity you get to come back, you take it with both hands. One of, if not the best college soccer stadium in the country, and I'll stand by that.
I'm sorry, the opportunity, if it were offered to you now, would you take it with both hands? A couple years removed?
Oh, no.
Okay.
My knees can't handle it, but be there in spirit.
Vinberg took a knock. He is okay to continue. Tossed in by Gadiri. Espinal lobbing long. Vasquez. Bolduc. Vincenzo Candelo laughed. He said Bolduc in maybe his 15th life with Richmond. Was with them from 2017 to 2022. Came back, left Sarasota at the beginning of the year. Here he is again. Leighton turned it over right to Alan Gavilanes.
For both sets of center backs, going to be crucial at how clean they can be at connecting passes when breaking through the press, but also the decision making. There is no need to try to overcomplicate things and try to force the issue. Keep the game simple, especially early on. Then you start to grow in some momentum, you get in a rhythm. That's when you can take chances and try to breaking lines.
Balance that interim head coach for Richmond, Brian Ombie, made apparent. When to press, when to fall back into a more defensive block once Omaha does take possession, and how quickly you can move once you do win it back.
That's the first two passes that Brian Ombie said are really important. Once you do force a turnover, first is to connect the ball, to retain possession. Second is to progress it and penetrate a line. Because this Union Omaha side can be caught out sometimes in transition as they overextend themselves.
Good win of the ball. Aaron Gomez. Brawl bounces kindly to Vargas. On now, Gavilanes off the outside netting. That was untouched by Filion.
8 minutes in, Omaha finding success when they change the side of the field that they want to go into. Notice the bottom of your screen. Vargas, as he plays century, is this little help ball that really puts pressure on Anderson, because as he comes century, that opens up the space for Gavilanes. Hit this first time. This ball needs to be cut across his body. That angle is just too tight to squeak it into that near post. If you find that far post wide open, opportunity missed for Union Omaha to draw first blood here.
Omaha with the lead is a scary prospect. Scoring first, 9 wins in a draw in 10 previous instances. When they lead late in games, they have not ceded any ground. They have won every instance in which they've led going into the final 5 minutes, the final 10 minutes. Every time they've led at half, too.
Gotti. Brian Ombie is the interim manager, took over and unfortunately oversaw a 10-match winless skid. There was a point against Madison where he said, essentially, enough of this. We're not going to play defensive, we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to live or die with that modus operandi. He comes from the winningest culture in USL at Louisville, and he's trying to instill that confidence in this group now.
And it was interesting because he didn't really talk about tactics and X and O's and formation. It was all about the mindset again. Talk about that game against Forward Madison, saying, well, I can live with losing a game, but not having any fight, not showing any grit. That's not what we're all about here for the Richmond Kickers. So he actually benched a lot of the big-time players and the experienced players for this side to send a message and saying, if you're not going to work, you're not going to play. And that's, like you mentioned, Mike, something that was the standard and the foundation for his time at Louisville City.
Well, they beat Alta on the 1st of August. Maybe that was a new leaf turned over because they followed that with a win against the Cosmos. Now 10 days off and trying to show just how quickly they've come along against Omaha. Carried forward by Gavilanes, who's been dangerous. Too far for Ors Navarro. He'll chase it down. He's the Scholar Athlete of the Year at West Virginia. Sunbelt Player of the Year. Ricochet into the sideline. Vincenzo Candela, we got on the phone with him this week, and I felt like I was interrupting a family reunion between you two, a couple of South Florida guys.
Had the ability to train with Vincenzo Candela numerous of times. Played against him in the academy days. He was the type of player that you hated to play against, but loved when he was on your team. It was really difficult in his 1v1 duels. One thing that is for certain never lacks passion, and that is something that has translated onto the field for Union Omaha. He's done a fantastic job with being really personal to each one of these individual players and getting the best out of the individual, which ultimately pushes the collective.
Deary in reverse. You know, trying to instill a joy and a confidence in all 24 guys was such a takeaway in talking with him. And that's not to say anything about what Jay Mims did, the inaugural head coach, nor Dom Casciato, who brought Candela with him after a stint together at the Cosmos when Casciato was an assistant, Candela still playing. Casciato now the head coach of Championship leading Tampa Bay. But it was a refreshing sound from two guys that went off the field and immediately jumped into assistant roles and then were immediately tasked with taking over teams with high expectation.
And I asked both of them the same question, saying, what's the biggest learning curve from turning into a player? Watch out here.
Richmond pouring forward, and this lashed well off target. It's ambitious from Hansen.
Again, it comes out of the press from Hansen. The left back love the attitude here to beat his individual marker to the spot, Ors Navarro. And then notice he has one thing on his mind. He wants to drive and put Owusu and Coleman under pressure. Obviously, not the final action that he intends, but the mentality is there yet again for Richmond 13 minutes in.
You're out here asking questions of coaches.
Saying, what's the biggest learning curve going from a player into a manager role? And they both said the same thing, saying it's not only thinking about the individuals, thinking about every single player and getting the best and pressing all the right buttons, because a lot of times players have to deal with a lot of unfortunate situations and they're really caught in that gray area. So you start to overthink things and you don't really have that line of communication. Brian Ownbury, Vincenzo Candela said, I want every single one of my players to understand who I am as a person, how I'm going to communicate to them and set the standard for this club.
Standard for both is traditionally quite high. It's been an up and down year for Richmond since Darren Sawatsky left to take over Cascades, an incoming League One club. But the 95 Open Cup winner, first pro team in the modern era to win that cup. Twice they won USL Championship. 3 times the regular season trophy. In the USL's top league, they won the League One Shield just 4 years ago. Into the final third, angle back, collected by Gavilanes. Gadiri through. Filion waited on that. Luckily, he knew better than I did.
Sammy Gadiri has a really good sense of positioning from his left back roll as his ball comes across. Notice how you have Gomez in that half pocket. He says, I see you, but I do not need to play. You try to play that ball in towards Navarro. It's a good idea, just overhits it a little bit. Well done for Filion to come off of his line.
It's with Omaha. Announced their presence to U.S. Soccer, reaching the quarterfinal in the 2022 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. They've won the League One Shield 3 times, the championship twice. Won the double in 2024, taking both trophies. Currently 5 unbeaten, 3 straight wins. Gomez. Well, sorry, Bulldog. Quack. Little thievery and the foul. Vargas, the guilty party, came in from New Mexico. Is there a more disheartening feeling than getting megged like that? Here's Omaha getting forward. Gavilanes was making an intriguing run. Gomez was overtaken. Here's Cabral.
Especially when you hear the oohs and ahs from the fans, it's the worst as a player.
Whatton. That'll run all the way back. Goal kick here to Richmond. Wednesday, 8 Eastern. You can catch more pitch play. Houston faces Mallory Swanson and Chicago in an NWSL showdown. It's right here on CBS Sports Network. Well, Houston's in the playoff hunt.
Chicago's not.
Not at the moment. Another manager for them. It's something like half a dozen in 2 years. Gavilanes just got tossed. The crowd here in Omaha is perhaps rightfully incensed. Big diagonal ball pushing Owusu to collect. Freeman chasing. Owusu. Dangerous pass through midfield. One other game ongoing in League One tonight, by the way. Madison and Portland Hearts of Pine. Madison's grabbed a lead there. It's Karamoko who scored in the 21st minute of play.
You mentioned the player that shoved down Gomez was Omaha, and he's a former Creighton Blue Jay, so it's interesting to see and hear the amount of fans that are supporting of Union Omaha. If they were Creighton fans, do they go for O'Malley? Because he had a wonderful career when he was a Blue Jay.
52 appearances, 9 goals. The team that calls this venue home collegiately. The entire Richmond team has been bantering him over the last couple days, calling him the king of Omaha. Freeman in reverse. Which for royalty, he sure does run a lot. You give O'Malley a ton of credit for just being that guy. When Brian Ownby says he reminds me of how I played as a defender, that's a really high compliment.
A lot of the descriptive words that Brian Ownby continued to say was he wants to hunt the ball. He just wants to go out and get the ball, make the opposition really uncomfortable. The ability to cover a lot of ground for Owen O'Malley, and that attitude and that mindset has been infectious to every single one of his teammates.
You remember those August non-conference games where the sun would be setting just like this, I imagine?
Did all of my work in the shade, but now I want to go into the sun.
Yep. Suddenly you only drifted to the right. By December, you only drifted to the left.
Yep.
If you had a day game and you were just hoping to catch some sliver of sunshine.
When teams would come into Omaha, they'd say, force him to the left. Don't let him operate in the shade.
Into the sunshine, Darwin Espinal.
Well done.
Espinal racing through. That was blocked by Owusu and will roll out for a corner.
But this whole action for the Richmond kicker starts with this back line doing a wonderful job at winning their individual duels. Hansen making life difficult for Orson Navarro, and that allows Espinal to go out and attack this back line, and that is when he's at his best, when he has green grass to run into and to put his defender on their heels.
The gap this wide in the table, sometimes it's a set piece. Freeman was offside. I didn't say it was that set piece.
I don't think I've ever seen that. A lot of times the initial kicker's offside because you elect to go short.
Yeah, not because you went too long. There's Cole Jensen. 10 starts for him, 10 starts for Rashid Nuhu. Shido's been the face of the franchise, so to speak, for so many years. 7th year for the club, but Luke Baxter has brought both Jensen and Nuhu along as the goalkeeping coach. Drew a lot of praise from Vincenzo Candela, the head coach. One of the rare instances where you probably do feel like you've got two number ones. Can actually mean it. Nuhu was the goalkeeper of the year in League One 2022 and 2023. But Jensen the man tonight. Nuhu just one clean sheet this year. It was his 47th, which is the League One record. And a free kick conceded by Owusu. Drags down Freeman.
Right, Nobi said it's going to be key to break lines when we recover this ball. Again, Barnathan doing a wonderful job at picking this ball up, and notice his first look forward. And as Owusu is a little bit late, catches Tyler Freeman, but that little thing makes a massive difference and wins a dangerous set piece here for the Richmond Kickers to put pressure on Omaha.
Well, make sure you're on side for the reset. You have a go at Jensen, all 6'5" of him. Seems a long way out. Would you put it past Freeman? Did go for goal, that did hit the wall, and Jensen does collect it. Past the midway point in the first half, Omaha had 70% of the ball in that first quarter hour of the game. A week removed from setting the League One passing record. 754. Most ever in a League One regular season game. It was a 3-1 win against Chattanooga. Now the service through. Speared away by Hayden Anderson. Chipped ahead by Coleman. by Owusu. Gadiri. Up from Wotton. Try through Boudadi's end.
Just needs to be a little bit quicker for Omaha once they do get into that final third, because Richmond right now really comfortable. And it goes back to what we mentioned, dictating the game without the ball. Brian Ownby needs to be pleased with what he's seen defensively from his side thus far.
Leading touch over to Gavilanes. Gavilanes cutting. The intervention, Gavilanes still cleared away from the line.
We play direct, and it's not the initial ball, it's a secondary wave of attack. Fantastic recognition here from Navarro, and then you play Gavilanes once again, but one touch too many, hit it there. As you come back across, unable to pick up his head and see the goal wide open, but you do not need to cut this ball back and beat your defender for a third time. Give credit to Vinberg. Last-ditch defending effort to deny a goal.
Aiden Anderson got in there too, big part of it. That very obviously hit a hand. Not gonna come with a card? Doesn't appear so. Not intentional, but it is a ball going forward toward the box. You do question. Be a yellow, not a red.
As Cabral has eyes to lift towards that back post. It's the extension of the right arm from Espinal away from his body, unnatural position.
I think he made the right call. I'm just asking questions. I would never own a whistle.
I think you do good at it.
I think I could be a fourth.
That's the worst. Have to deal with the coaches.
But I'm up for that. It's Cabral. Into the wall.
Gadiri pops in for Gavilanes. Got the first touch and the second. Collected by Filion.
How do you shore up the right side of Richmond? Because we've seen Gavilanes have, what, 2-3 decent looks.
Well, you need communication from your two center backs, right? Because right now Anderson's getting caught way too wide. And that allows, good attempt here from Hansen, but that allows Gavilanes to find that little pocket of space, but also to go around. So if you are Leighton or Vinberg, he needs to stay connected. If he does push wide, that's when you need to rotate over and provide a little bit of coverage right now.
Nice work into Gadiri.
Continues, chops this over. First touch wasn't great, but the final touch is brilliant. Ors Navarro, how'd he score that? Omaha gets their deserving go-ahead. 1-0.
You have the luxury of a left back that is just so good on the ball. Sammy Gadiri doing a fantastic job at driving this back line, and as he brings in both center backs, that allows Ors Navarro to create separation. Not the best of first touches here, but does a really good job at staying with it. And the ability to get there and close his hips at the last second to get that swooping motion around the turf. Not even a courtesy dive from the goalkeeper. 7th on the season, and Union Omaha in the lead.
The Mountaineer took the country roads to find that goal, but it counts all the same. 28th minute go ahead. And Omaha, for the moment, moves back to the top of League One. Richmond spoke about the idea of getting a gut punch. They felt they had gotten that early against Alta and that they responded to it. How do they respond now? against an Omaha team unbeaten when they score first.
Next 5 minutes for Brian Omby, so important in terms of the mentality here. You cannot allow the crowd to get into it. You can hear them getting louder. And the Union Omaha players starting to grow in confidence. So killing the momentum and taking the sting out of this match, slowing it down, connecting passes, because right now they're getting too spread apart, especially defensively.
What a tackle that was.
Good run.
Vargas ahead, tried to take that off the first time. I'll give you one guess who's conceded more goals than Richmond this year.
New York Cosmos.
They've given up 40. Cosmos on 11 points are 20 points back and are 4 games away potentially from being the first eliminated. Richmond fought them off for the, well, gave them the wooden spoon. I don't know the best way to put it. 10 days ago, put a little distance between them. Meanwhile, at the top, it's really exciting title race unfolding. Knoxville won the double last year, sit on 37. Madison up tonight, they're on 39 if they can hold on to that. Charlotte at 42, had that great run late spring, early summer, hit the skids, and they're back on their front foot. And then there's Omaha, 5 unbeaten, trying to make it 6. Trying to add to their lead now. Stabbed ahead by Vargas. And there's Hansen defensively.
Love the relationship that we've seen from Vargas and Yunus Budadi on that far side. Much like Adiri at that left back, Budadi has the freedom to push high and just put so much pressure on the opposition because you have a player centrally, and then it all comes down to the timing of Vargas. Draw in Hansen, then you play Budadi, but in the end, Hansen doing a good job in terms of his recovery run to deny this ball across.
It is a delightful 80 degrees tonight in Omaha.
Great summer city, Omaha is.
Your old stomping grounds. Yeah, we talked about the field itself, but it sounds like the market over there.
Yeah, old market. Nice restaurants, a lot of social places to go to. College World Series just around the corner here as well.
There's some pushing and shoving going on away from Filion, who's down. It's Brent Coleman from Omaha. And this is why I wouldn't make it as a 4th official either. Hold everybody apart. See Dakota Barnathan plenty frustrated. See if we can get a better look here.
Bottom of your screen, Coleman just standing there.
So you've got Brian Omby and a number of the Kickers players discussing a potential, I would think, tactical change with Filion going down. So Coleman goes over to have a listen.
Yeah.
And Richmond doesn't take kindly to that.
Rightly so. Brent Coleman knows exactly what he's doing here with the experience of his career.
There's also a high likelihood that Filion knows exactly what he's doing with the experience of his career. So the old goalkeeper tactical timeout.
Under pressure, slow the game down, kill the momentum.
You know, you really got to appreciate a guy. It's his 2nd year for his hometown team. He talked about how long ago it was that he was having those foggy training sessions here at Morrison with Creighton. He played for the Jays from 09 to 2012. On to Minnesota for 11 years. Went to Nashville the following season in 2024. Played in 13 games and decided to come home. And for him to talk about having family here and sort of those goosebump-inducing moments that comes with playing in your hometown at the end of your career, pretty cool. But he is still a wily veteran. And he's got the best poker face in the league. Oh, what a ball in. And the finish, just as good. Aaron Gomez. That's jaw-dropping from the Owls. There's a reason they're the best in League One. Omaha 2, Richmond 0.
Just so good from the home side. It starts with Coleman's ability to play out of the back and weight this ball to perfection. But the movement from Gomez, as Orson Navarro comes across, he pulls out lane, so that leaves a massive gap across this back line of the Richmond Kickers. And this is all about the composure in the end from Gomez. Filion off of his line, let the ball drop and just pick out a corner. Go for placement versus power from that distance and double the lead for Omaha.
That's a second assist, or goal contribution rather, for Sergio Orson Navarro, and Aaron Gomez, who ruptured his Achilles June last year, makes the move to League One and shows his immense skill. Coleman nods it forward. That's the 20th goal conceded by Richmond in the first half of games this year, most in League One. Budati took the hit. It's a yellow on O'Malley.
Oh, and O'Malley's been involved in numerous of difficult challenges, knows exactly what he's doing here. Yunus Budati, really clever touch. Sees the pressure oncoming, just push it by and take the contact. Just simply a little bit of frustration shown from the number 12 of Richmond.
O'Malley. Yellow.
Auto parts.
Yeah. Definitively not a sponsor, just a fan.
Good ball.
Campfire around it. Came to O'Malley, if only for a second, and he's down. And a push from Bulldog. Some flaring tempers. Lest we forget, Richmond beat Omaha in City Stadium across the country in the reverse fixture, second month of the season. Richmond does actually hold the all-time series lead against Omaha. There are very few teams that can make that claim. Over to Gomez. Delivers the cross. It's an own goal. Sean Vinberg couldn't have hit that any better if he was in front of the other net. Omaha is pouring it on with a little help from the kickers.
It's a nightmare for a center back in this position because you have to be aware of the run, but also the service. So Vinberg's body position is all off here. His hips are closed. He has zero idea where Orson Navarro is. You have to have your hips open, facing away from goal, because if not, you run the risk of this happening. Really unfortunate here for the Richmond Kickers to concede their third in this first half.
Union Omaha proving a point tonight. Lost the first meeting between these two clubs. It was the biggest blemish on their resume. That is a foul and a free kick and a card. Owusu picks up his 4th in 21 games this year.
Almost like a football challenge there from Owusu. Just drops his shoulder and takes out O'Malley, deserving of a yellow card. If you can get one back here for Richmond, make it a little bit interesting, and it's a comfortable distance to bypass the wall and test that man. Well, Jensen.
And I just called Orange County and Louisville last night. It was 3-0 to Louisville, and Orange County 2 goals to really give us a heck of a game. That third stings, but if you get one back before halftime, at least you can go in and try and formulate a plan. Jensen is going to have the sun peeking in on only him. A free kick into the wall. Bulldog. Ball breaks apart. Popped in behind. That's going to bounce. And that ran out of real estate.
The second time that Freeman does not have the ability to bypass the wall. Had an interesting conversation years ago with Ryan Martin, the former head coach of Loudoun United, where Tyler Freeman played. He said he is one of, if not the most talented player I've ever coached. Some things that he does in training leaves you in awe. Talent is there. To the production needs to match, and that is where Freeman has really lacked over the course of his career. Only 1 goal in the season thus far.
He had 8 that year with Ryan Martin in Loudoun. That was his best season. Where's Navarro? Got his ball ahead, prodded away by Hansen.
One thing that is really underrated about this Union Omaha side, specifically in the attacking phase of play, should be a yellow.
Those are starting to flow a little bit. Could be Vargas in the book.
The now have a transitional and promising attack. All makings of a yellow card. Going back to Union Omaha, is that they have different ways that they can attack and different type of profiles, especially at that number 9 position. As we take a look at this foul from Marlon Vargas, clear as day.
Yeah, he earned that.
Yeah, 100%. Norris Navarro gives you a little bit more of that mobility factor that he can run out of the pocket. So then you have Gavilanes, you have Gomez playing underneath. Marlon Vargas can fill in that gap as well. So there's a really good balance. But then you have Pato Botella-Faz, who's on the bench, and he's more of a back-to-goal number 9. You want to play into him. You want to have runners off of him. So you have 2 different looks going forward, depending on the opponent for the Omaha side.
That has to be the most unique seating arrangement in all of college soccer.
The far end?
Yeah. Well, it's a berm, but it's not. Freeman. Showing off some of that skill. Tapped in by Matt Bolduc. Richmond offered a lifeline. The 31-year-old, so much of his career with the Kickers, from an unfamiliar place on the table, makes it 3-1.
Espinal doing a good job at pushing it into Freeman, and this is Freeman just wanting it that much more, not giving up, beating Budati, beating Wotton, beating Rusu to keep it alive, and then simply pass this ball into Bolduc at that far post. Brings in a third center back here, opens up the left side of your screen. Easy finish. Bolduc in a little bit of life here for Richmond. Does it get one back?
Extended through the end of the season at the end of July. Came in on a 25-day deal. Has given Richmond something to dream of in making it a 2-goal game before halftime. A loss tonight hardly eliminates Richmond. To expect a win from them tonight at this venue especially was a remarkable ask. But there's very few chances remaining to give points away and still have a chance at the playoffs at the end. Udati tried to cut the corner. Hansen's there. Came over from Germany. A good amount of indoor soccer in the last 3 years as well. There he is again, Hansen. Comes to Freeman. He might be feeling it. Trying to turn. Bulldog. Shore-handed from Jansen. Doesn't let this loose. Jensen up to the task.
And there's those glimpses that you're talking about for Brian Ownby and this Richmond side, that they do have the quality higher up the field to put teams under pressure. We have not seen a lot of Espino, but when he's gone on the ball, he's really feeded Tyler Freeman. He's caused some issues with his versatility, his 1v1 capabilities.
Been just over 1 expected goal in this game. We've gotten 4, so we enter 4 minutes of added time. Lucky us. Anderson. Goodness, that own goal feels so much bigger now.
Just so unfortunate.
And sometimes you get an own goal where the player doesn't know what's behind them, and maybe you didn't need to do anything with the ball. There was someone right there for a tap in. He had to do something.
Well, when you talk about center backs, specifically when defending, watch out.
The numbers are good here for the Owls. Sliced ahead. Keeper got a piece. Flag's gone up. It's all offside.
This needs to be quicker here for Morris Navarro. Once you stand up, your individual defender, you need to play this ball either across or slip in. Marlon Vargas a lot earlier. The timing way too slow, which throws off the run, and in the end, Marlon Vargas gets caught offside. Going back to that own goal for Vinberg, when you're talking about a center back dealing with crosses from wide parts of the field, everything is about your body position, right? Giving you the best opportunity to, number one, find the position that you need to cut out across, but also to be aware of the runner behind you and know where the service is coming from. And so you want to have your hips facing your attacking goal, because that allows you to attack the ball a little bit more. Because when you're backtracking, now it's all off. Your balance is off. You have to make a play. And the risk of finding the back of your own net is really high.
And he rifled it.
Yeah, hit it well, to be fair.
Gavilanes, well taken. Combination to bring it forward from Gomez, broken up.
On the other side of that, Mike, when you are an attacking player and you realize the center back's out of position, you want to peel off the blind side to put him in a more of an uncomfortable role. So well done for Morris Navarro, who does, in fact, really put even a little bit more on Vinberg there.
All on to Wotton. Chips it through Ors Navarro. Didn't corral it. Crawl not on the same page as Gadiri. But may have a second bite at the apple. Got flipped. Vinberg pleading his case. Mentioned the sun just peeking at both goals. This one's the tougher one because he's going to have to look directly into it, Filion. The ball's going to come out of the shade and into the sunlight. It's goalkeeper's nightmare with a setting sun. Gavilanes. we're trying to make contact right at that area where the sun meets the shade. It's a corner. This should be the last action of the half. I have never heard the fans chant corner sponsor, ever. Kudos.
All in unison, too. Impressive.
Corner away. Off it back into the box. Filion collects it and takes us to halftime. Not lacking for goals. Omaha a 3-0 lead. Richmond cuts into it minutes before halftime. Gomez and Oris Navarro and an own goal tally for Omaha.
If you are Victor Candela, you are the happier of the two managers. Obviously, yes, with the result, but also through the run of play. This Union Omaha side are at their best when they are quick, when they are decisive, they have combinations, and they are carving through this Richmond kicker side. For Brian Ownby, it's another opportunity to show some character and personality when coming out of the next 45 minutes. You need a response from your side.
Omaha unbeaten in 20 home matches consecutively in the regular season. That includes 9 games this year. A home environment that truly gives you a lift. Vincenzo Candela, the head coach for Union Omaha, told us this week. Said there's a reason players want to play here. There's a reason he stayed here. As the manager for the club previous bolted for Tampa Bay. Not many greener pastures than this one at Morrison Stadium. Sergio Oris Navarro, a goal and an assist in the first half, joins us from the field. It's Mike Watson, Ricky Lopez Espin. Thoughts on the performance for your group through 45 minutes?
I think it's been a solid 45 minutes. We were very successful on our attacks on the final third. A little bit disappointing to concede that goal late in the first half, but keep going and hopefully we can win the second half and finish the job.
Sergio, your relationship with Alan and Marlon underneath you, it's just so fun to watch. How good do you understand the movements off one another?
I mean, it's so fun to play with them. They're great players. I know what movements they're going to do because they always put themselves in the best position in order to create the best chances for the team, and it's so fun to play with them.
Muchas gracias, Sergio. Much appreciated. Halftime here in Omaha. Oris Navarro, or top of the table. However you decide to put it, Omaha 3-1 over Richmond. This is the USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. This is what dreams are made of. Professional soccer in your hometown and delicious, crisp popcorn. USL on CBS Sports presented by Best Western. Get your popcorn ready for the Prince Tires USL Cup semifinal. Ricky, it's a redraw, so Hartford will go against Colorado Springs. Reigning champion will be at home, and then San Antonio will host Louisville City. That's a rematch of the 2022 USL Championship final.
Just so many storylines. We'll start with Brendan Burke and company. Had success in this tournament last season, winning their first trophy. But then the other side, Louisville City had to go to Tampa in the round earlier. Now can they do it against Carlos Mimosa and a really well-oiled San Antonio side, all to play for? And just like you said, get your popcorn ready.
In the last 5 years, all 4 of those teams have won a trophy in USL competition. So too have these 2 teams. Omaha 3-1 ahead of the Richmond Kickers. First half highlights, of which there were a ton, coming up. You're watching the USL on CBS Sports presented by Best Western. The Owl faithful not used to trailing. That's not the case again tonight. 3-1 Owls over Kickers at the half. Welcome back into the booth, joined by Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Mike Watts. I can distill that first half down to one word: Omaha.
They were fantastic. Union Omaha, understanding who they were on the ball. They were decisive, they were fluid, and scored 2 really good goals. Yes, there's a little bit of an unfortunate play from the Kickers, but Union Omaha was just so dominant.
We're going to start around the half-hour mark, and this is where Omaha started to really put the ball on frame.
Orz Navarro doing a really good job at just keeping it together. Their first touch is not the best, but he recovers extremely well and has the swooping motion down to that bottom corner, but this is a fantastic goal. The ball over from Coleman as Orz Navarro brings in Vinberg. That allows Gomez that central location, but just such a classy and composed finish from Gomez. Sees a goalkeeper off of his line. Let me just push it by him. 2-0 Union Omaha.
Stunning. Then just 4 minutes later, add another one. This, an own goal that on the other end would have been a picturesque one.
It's it well, Vinberg, but unfortunately it's into his own net. But it's all about the body position or lack thereof from the center back. But yet there was a little bit of life for Richmond in the late parts of this first half.
And it's Richmond finding a goal that at least keeps them in this match 2 minutes before stoppage.
All about the wants from Tyler Freeman to keep it alive, to bypass two Omaha players, bring in Coleman, and that allows Bulldog at that far post. An easy finish. 3-1 we end after 45 minutes.
Omaha looking for more silverware. They'll take gold too. It's 3-1 Omaha over Richmond. The Owls, they're just chilling. USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. Second half next. The travel map is brought to you by Best Western.
Gomez has been all over the field for Union Omaha. Notice where he's playing centrally, almost as a number 10, the ability to combine with his teammates, but also when he provides the width for Union Omaha, there is still a presence with Orz Navarro, Marlon Vargas, Catalanes in that central location. Aaron Gomez is just so influential for Union Omaha. Look for him to continue on in this second half to put more pressure on the Richmond Kickers and find success for the home side.
And Ron Gomez ruptured his Achilles last June, was, a star for El Paso for a number of years
after making the move from their sister club, FC Juarez, from the championship, chose to come to Omaha. It was, I think, really telling listening to Vincenzo Candela, the head coach for the club, say, there's a reason players come here and stay. This is so often a transitional league, players moving year to year. And Omaha, maybe more movement around the head coaching change than past years, but they've kept the core together for a reason. And the first touch of the second half belongs to the Kickers, who made the only change at the break. Josh Kirkland has come on. Zahir Vasquez comes off.
And Vasquez had a really difficult time just being impactful whatsoever for the Richmond. Kirkland's going to give you the ability to come underneath now. His relationship with Freeman, crucial. And a little bit better balance for Brian Ownby in the second 45 minutes.
The last few weeks, it's been Freeman coming off for Kirkland or vice versa, so they'll play together tonight. Joined by Ricky Lopez-Espin, former Big East Player of the Year at Creighton. Mike Watts. Omaha, if they maintain the result, would be back at top League One about 2/3 of the way through the season. Coming out of the break and trying to fire across, Budati. And a push into the back of Cabral.
It's clever from Cabral to invite the contact, but if you are Hansen, you need to be smarter here. There's simply no need to engage in any contact. The ball's going nowhere. Cabral is facing the sideline. If you just move your feet, let him play negative, your job is done.
Fillion's convinced. Alan Gavilanes awaits. Spent the last couple years in Miami. Contact in the box, it continues. Hansen did well with it. There's appeal that there's a handball against Omaha. Would have turned the ball back to Richmond. No relation to the English club, of course. The fictional one.
Have you seen the new season?
I've seen bits and pieces.
It's on my to-do list tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight, yeah, after
Wow.
this game, yeah.
You're over here doing games in both leagues all week. You didn't have time to study Ted Lasso tactics. Tonight you do.
Tonight I do. Watch out.
That's asking a lot of questions of Fillion. That's regrettable from Vinberg. It's a totally self-inflicted corner kick. And a good reminder of why when you pass back to the goalkeeper, you do it outside the frame.
100%. You have to be a lot cleaner here for Vinberg. Nearly another nightmare. Another opportunity for Omaha.
Delivery beyond the back stick. Hayden Anderson onto the ball. South Carolinian started just 7 games last year, but has been a constant for Richmond this season. If there was going to be a documentary that covered any USL team, I'm thinking back to the Ted Lasso thing. Omaha might actually be the team I choose. Constantly competing for trophies. The fan base has been good. The move into this venue. It'd be on my short list of my hard knocks candidates.
Yeah, I agree. I think another one that will warrant insertion to that conversation is Boise this season.
Boise, absolutely. Yeah. Richmond has the last goal in this game, and they were looking intently in transition, but Owusu cut it out.
Portland as well.
Yeah, Hearts of Pine.
Yeah.
What Boise has done, regardless of the fact that, you know, results-wise, they're sitting, you know, not really contending for the Shield per se, nor would you anticipate an expansion team to do so, but firmly in playoff position, selling out games in Idaho, really cool. It's good work from Boris Navarro. He's feeling it tonight.
Can I ask Sergio the question, understanding the movements off one another, started this match as a number 9, as the highest player for Omaha. This time he's dropping deeper, he's beating players 1v1, and then it is Avellanes pushing and being that false number 9. So there is just so much fluidity in the players that can float in and out of that position, which makes a nightmare to defend, because now the Richmond Kickers need to rely on communication and passing players off, because if they start chasing, gaps will open up.
Particularly dangerous existence. This threaded all the way through. Gomez guided off the ball by Hansen. Then Gomez wins it back. It's Vargas, it's through. Cavallana is the target. Filion rolls the other way. And I think Candela is about to get a card. No, just checking on Hansen. Referee was making a beeline in that direction. I thought he was being rather tame. He was, it turns out. Sorry, Vince. Defamatory.
He was having a conversation with the 4th. Something he did not like. That's clean. Maybe it's that foul right there. I have to think it is, yeah.
The closed captioning lip reading service says, come on. Were you surprised to see either of these guys become not just coaches, head coaches? You've been around Vince more than you've been around Brian.
As quickly as it happened, yes. And I think both of them will say the same thing. Didn't think it would happen in the way that it did, but it's kind of the best way, right? You don't have that foul process. You're just, okay, I'm stuck into this job, I'm gonna learn. And what a learning curve it's been, and what a learning opportunity for both of these young managers. They've done a fantastic job.
Caught by Filion. There's some really good coaching in League One. And that's something I've heard from coach after coach after coach. Oh, that ricochets and belongs to Omaha. Bulldog trying to claim a corner. You've got guys who've been around the block, either at the championship level, like Nate Miller, Mike Jeffries have been around. Dave Dixon has been around Greenville for a long time. To some of your younger guys, Ian Fuller, so impressive, Lee Wiedman. Then you've got some of these guys, they're just jumping into the coaching ranks for the first time like we have tonight. Ownby is an interim, although certainly he's indicated it's a job he'd like to maintain. And Vincenzo Candela, who stepped in after Tom Casciato went to Tampa. Where's Navarro? Brawl kept it moving. Wotton outside. Wotton spending the last season here. Prior to that was at Indy. Was the Big Ten Midfielder of the Year twice over at the Ohio State University. Vargas. Budati. Back post header, Filion. Denies Gomez. That was a bullet.
Just so expansive again. Omaha, Vargas doing a good job by playing in this half space, which allows the right side of your screen to be just so free for Budati. Lovely ball lifted towards that far post. And this is exactly what you're taught for Gomez to head this ball down, trying to really test Filion. But the goalkeeper does a great job at staying his ground, positioning flawless, but doesn't know much about it, just pushes it wide.
The ensuing corner for the Owls. And Coleman making the run, never got that far. Pushing and shoving, and Owusu yanked by Espinal. He's had a quiet night. Omaha's playing. Mentioned Coleman has a poker face. He's been a pro poker player. Actually won some dough. Not saying he should quit his day job, but sooner than later the day job's gonna go away, so.
You're a poker player?
Not a good one.
I have zero idea how to play poker.
You're looking for four of the same face. That'd be good.
Okay.
Subs coming for Richmond. Brian Ownby going to try and shake this up a bit. Tarek Panholzer waiting to come in. It's like Landon Johnson as well. Coming sooner than later. There's still so much time left in the year. I think the USL Cup has sort of shifted our perception how much time remains. Usually get to August and you're really in the home stretch. 3v2. Gomez leads. Ors Navarro overtaken by Vinberg.
The frustration, rightly so, for Vinberg here. You cannot leave your two center backs that exposed and that vulnerable against three players of the Union Omaha. And it's a missed opportunity for Omaha because you need, at the very least, to put pressure on Filion here. As Gomez continues on, continue to drive. You need to continue to drive till one of the two center backs step into you. As you play this ball early, it's just too predictable now because now Vinberg can shade Ors Navarro towards the end line and sideline. Good 1v1 defending in the end from the center back. But when you have a numerical advantage as an attacking player, your top priority is to engage one defender and then you play the ball. Because if you play it early, the angle's just off.
The projected subs, Johnson and Panholzer for Bolduc and Espinal. But with O'Malley down for a second time tonight, you wonder whether that could shift. Interim manager for Richmond, Brian Ownby, went over to the fourth official and was gesturing at the card. That Bolduc did score. He was really the beneficiary of all the work Freeman did.
At top of the 18 right now, does a good job at just coming in really sneakily at this far post. Freeman does all the hard work, brings in Coleman in the end. Gadiri has zero idea where Bolduc is. It's an easy finish to give Richmond their only goal thus far.
Ali Sasanka is coming in. So O'Malley did come out. Sasanka came in. Gives you an idea of the best laid plans. That, a strike! Hits off the tee. Sammy Gadiri almost blew the roof off this place.
I think every single person, including us, Morrison Stadium, just stopped and stared at this ball just travel through this Richmond back line. Not even a courtesy dive, a spectator as well. What a wonderful strike that is from Gadiri, nearly conversation of goal of the year.
Holy smokes.
Did it well with his preferred right foot. Sammy Gadiri.
Oh, Gavilanes continued and laced that right across the face of goal, out the other end.
Just pure class from Gavilanes here. Comfortable in tight areas of the field, but it's the first time that we've seen Vargas and Gomez just not on the same page. Heavy touch here from Hansen.
Let's end up pulling it in with Ors Navarro chasing. I was going to ask, did you cross over with Ors Navarro with Miami? Beg pardon,
Gadiri?
Gadiri.
Yep.
Yeah.
A really good outside back. Talked about his quality, ability to break lines, the motor that he has as well.
Did you know he had that in him?
Not with his right foot, left foot, yes. I'll be getting a text later from Sammy.
He's with Inter Miami 2 years. Played 10 games for the club. He's with Fort Lauderdale, who then were in League One as well. All the talk about how hard it is to go from player to manager. Not nearly enough talk about how hard it is to go from player to critiquing your former teammates.
It's been the biggest learning curve for me.
Omaha push into the final third. That delivery had Ors Navarro's name on it. Instead, speared out by Sam Layton. Reminder, the fan base and of the trophies won, a city of champions. Delivery through, kept alive by Wotton. It's Gavilanes through a lot of traffic. Filion got something on it. Holman was trying to brush it home.
It's a really good save from Filion here, because there's just so much traffic and so many bodies that this ball has to travel through to ultimately test the goalkeeper. Full extension, parries it away.
Let there be subs. Diego Gutierrez came in on a 25-day deal early in the season, was at Charleston a couple years ago. He's the Big East Player of the Year twice with Creighton. Ron Gomez takes leave. That's Pato Bateo Fas. What a story he is. Achilles injury, training summer of 2023 with Las Vegas. He'd already scored 4 goals. They were so high on him. He left the professional game for nearly 3 years. Bateo Fas is back with Omaha, adding to an embarrassment of riches. Vargas takes leave on a yellow card as well. Gutierrez continues. Gavilanes shimmies free. Gavilanes went down. Gadiri the foul. Omaha, tremendous real estate from which to try and hit a free kick.
But instantly, you just see the impact first from Bateo Fas, and then Gutierrez. So technically gifted, this Omaha side, ability to beat you through combination. Gavilanes brings in his defender, sidesteps, and wins. A wonderful opportunity.
So Richmond was planning to make a substitution with these two about 8 minutes ago. O'Malley got injured, so they kept these two subs out of the game, brought in Ali Sasanka instead. And now they're going to bring in Johnson and Panholzer. So now Bolduc takes leave. He was slated to come off about 8 minutes ago. And Darwin Espinal comes off as well. Comes off a brace against New York Cosmos, but didn't find the ball all that often tonight.
Only 24 touches throughout the 66 minutes for Espinal.
Well, you have to think you're going for goal from here. Wall did the job. Tough one for Cabral. He's still bemoaning. You get that chance, what, 5-10 times a year at most from that almost perfect spot?
But from that spot, you train every day.
Yep. Cavallana is the delivery. Wusu on the backside, seeking space. Something Messi would have scored that. "66 minutes gone. This would see Omaha top of League One once again. Be their 4th straight win. It would snap Richmond's 2-game winning run after 10 winless prior. Gavilanes gets it wide from Botello Foss. The service is Gavilanes finding Gutierrez. Omaha's got their 4th. A 3-goal lead, knowing 3 points take them back to the top of the table.
Wonderful play from Union Omaha. Botello Foss, notice this ball right there, unlocks the whole attacking phase of play. And then you have 4 players crashing the goal mouth in the danger zone. That is about want, and that is about will to get yourself into a really good opportunity. Give credit to Gavilanes. Picks up his head, takes a second, takes a 3rd touch, allowing his teammates to get in a good body position. And Gutierrez is there at the end to finish it off. Another really well-worked team goal from Union Omaha.
A 4-goal-to-1 lead. Should feel rather confident now, and who could have anticipated when they signed Gutierrez to a 25-day deal in March that he'd bag 7 goals in under 1,100 minutes?
Again, he's another one of those players that talent is never a question. The things that he can do with the ball in terms of his 1v1 capabilities, the combination, but really struggled with his decision-making in that final third. Talking to Ben Pearman, the head coach of the Charleston Battery, saying that he needs to do a better job at notice his timing, when to arrive into the box, when to bring in his teammates, when to be more selfish. Again, the production has been fabulous this season.
Gutierrez out of Creighton, landed at Portland, played 10 games for the Timbers in MLS, didn't score there. On to Charleston, flipped midseason to Monterey Bay, 30 games in the championship, only 1 goal there. Now 7 goals this season in League One. Rejuvenated his career. Sasonka pushed out by Freeman. Chance for us to take a look at the Best Western upcoming schedule. Wednesday night joins Sean St. Jacques and Ricky for Phoenix and Colorado Springs, 10 p.m. Eastern time, right here on CBS Sports Network. Saturday, fun one, Orange County and the reigning champion FC Tulsa of the West, that is. And Fort Wayne meets these Richmond Kickers September 2nd. These matches and the full complete schedule, go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com. Orange County Tulsa is going to be fun because Tulsa, they won the West in the regular season. They won it in the playoffs, fell in the championship final to Pittsburgh on penalties. but seem to be trending up at the right time under Luke Spencer in Orange County. They may have lost to Louisville and Tampa Bay the last 2 games, but they are top of the Western Conference.
That second half of the Orange County game for Danny Stone.
There's Navarro. Vinberg being asked to defend deep in his own end again.
How good has Ors Navarro been for Omaha's worked extremely hard. Whether it is linking up play, this time running in behind and putting pressure on the 2 center backs, Slayton and Vinberg. Just so many weapons Vincenzo Candela has at his disposal.
Delivery speared away, Wotton. This is Kirkland by his lonesome. Only 20 minutes to play. Long road back for Richmond. Omaha trying to put the final stake down. Gavilanes. Akers to work with. Gavilanes hits the cross, chested down. Gavilanes will have another look. Pitchforks it into the penalty area, driven away by Hansen. This will be the 5th and final change for the Kickers. Beckett Howell, a Richmond Academy product, signed an Academy deal in 23, then a professional contract in 2024. And at the age of 21, appears for the 13th time this year. He replaces Vinberg, who was asked to do a lot. The own goal is what it is, but he certainly was frustrated by the time this was done.
A frustrating performance for Vinberg, but didn't really have a lot of help from his team. There's too many times him and Leighton got exposed and left vulnerable.
You know, I think there's an element of Brian Ownby's going to appreciate the passion with which he was visibly frustrated multiple times at being left out to dry there.
And it's going to be learning curve for this Richmond Kicker side, knowing that Brian Ownby is a manager that wants his team to press. So in doing that, when you do press, you need to press together. Because once your press gets broken and you get stretched out, that is when. Good ball.
Laid off by Cabral. Cabral is there again. That's Howell to the rescue. That's his first interaction in the game.
But even right there, no one tracks a run of Cabral. And it is the sub Howell, the center back, that needs to step up and eliminate that space. And it's just far too easy for Cabral to play this ball into Gutierrez and get it back. Notice the run from number 8, center of your screen right now. Plays it, no one tracks him. Everyone gets called ball watching, so now the center back needs to come across. And rightly so, after having a few words with his teammates.
Cabral's delivery untouched. In theory, that's Anderson's man, but he's covering this giant gap of space directly in front of the goal. They just too often have been sucked to one side.
100%. There's balance, there's rotation, there's coverage when you're talking about a defensive unit. If someone is going to step, the other 3 need to drop and shift over. But you also need to have more communication with the players in front of you. Sasanka now and Barnathan, both of them are getting caught really high. So that is where you're starting to see players like Gutierrez, now Gavilanes, Marlon Vargas, when he was on the field, Gomez really operate in those half spaces.
Double change for Omaha. Big applause for Sergio Ors Navarro, and it's not hard to understand why. He was brilliant tonight. That is Adrian Billhart coming on. Rajiba as well. And Lawrence Wotton takes leave. Omaha will host Sarasota next Saturday. If they see this through without defeat, and that's looking more and more likely. It's a good run into the penalty area by Johnson. Left back by Kirkland. Carried away by Gadiri. Omaha will have a chance to set the League One regular season home unbeaten streak. They'll be going for number 22 against Sarasota next week. They'll go to Naples and host New York Cosmos to close out the month of August. This is a very, at least on paper, kind portion of the schedule for Omaha. Naples sit 13th, Sarasota 15th, Richmond 16th, New York 17th on a 17-team table. You don't win the Shield if you don't beat these teams. You can make the playoffs, dropping a few of these. You don't typically win the Shield. Not when it's this contentious at the top.
The standard that Omaha continues to set is to fight for every single trophy available for this League One side. The Shield, ultimately the final as well. Protect your home turf, they've done that. Win the games that, quote unquote, you should win. 75 minutes done here, but still a lot left to play.
Is there more? Gutierrez sees Gavilanes. Gavilanes went down, and it is swept wide by Budati. Candela and the bench are screaming for a penalty.
Really good texture on this ball from Gutierrez, but center of your screen as Hansen comes in. There was certainly contact, but don't think enough to point at the 12 yards out. Gavilanes' first touch isn't the best, so that now he's starting to reach behind him. Okay with the no call from Braden Frey here. But as this ball comes across, Gavilanes needs to hit that first time. You do not have the luxury of time nor space for about 11 yards out.
To your point about Omaha competing for every trophy, we spoke Vincenzo Candela about the pressure that might come with taking over from two managers previous that did win everything that was there to be won in League One. So it's not pressure to win. It's a standard that you're expected to meet. I've never once heard a coach describe it that way. Taking over a glamour club in any league that I've covered and said, it's not pressure, it's a standard that you're expected to meet. The Omaha standard is, well, be there at the end for everything. Seventh year, 5 League One trophies. Made the move over from Warner Park, where they spent their first 6 seasons, the baseball stadium in town. Well, one of the baseball stadiums in town. And for a 31-year-old fresh off the field to have that mentality, I was really impressed by it.
Maturity, if you didn't tell me his age or his resume, you'd think that he was coaching for a while, or that he spoke about the standard, the tactics, the man management part of being a coach.
Fillion has to be careful. Good line breaking pass Barnathan. Anderson. Skimmed on to Gadiri. Rolled outside by Cabral.
And with the insertion of Jiba, now he's going to play left back. Gadiri can slot next to Cabral as a double pivot. Another one of those versatile players for Union Omaha. Gadiri starting at the left back position, now coming centrally.
Slipped in toward Barnathan, goes sliding aimlessly. Wusu paid the price.
Good little play here from Sasanka. First uses his strength, and then it's a nice little slipped ball into Barnathan, but far too slow to recognize. Wusu comes across, good positioning from the center back, but notice number 2 gets caught flat-footed, and now he's starting to leave his feet, catches all of the player.
Carried up, Bill Hart, the steal. It's Budati, shoved off by Panholzer.
The play that loses the ball initially, really good work rate from Panholzer here. Tracked down about 40, 50 yards. Budati goes down far too easily. Nothing in that whatsoever.
Bill Hart spent the last 2 years in Richmond. Made the move over to Omaha. Champion in 2022 with the artist formerly known as South Georgia Tormenta, whose ashes are sprinkled all over the schedule this year. Taking away Gadiri. Oh, now we're playing. Bill Hart. Bill Hart. That's Leighton in at the final moment. Bill Hart won't give in. Finally, Hansen broke it all up. Landon Johnson. All right, Gadiri. Well, that's not what you pay your outside back to do, but worked out that time. It's the 5th and final change coming for Union Omaha. Edri Caceres spent last year playing all that much against Lexington. Consistent feature off the bench of late, replacing Cabral. Panholzer. Budati.
Good ball from Bill Hart. This is where you want Gutierrez to drive.
There is Gavilanes. Filion had his arm out. Blocked it above the crossbar.
Wanting Gutierrez to drive, but bottom right of your screen, notice this run from Botelafaz. Comes across the face of the 18, and that pulls the defender with him. which ultimately opens up the space for Gavilanes to creep in. But in the end, Hal does a really good job in terms of his recovery run from the center back. Gets caught flat-footed, then comes back across to deny what could have been the fifth.
Turn to center on the delivery. Omaha out here trying to give the fans a reason to come back next week. Turned over awkwardly to Kirkland, but he has no support up there. He does win a foul. And with it, a yellow card to Caceres.
Initially didn't think there was much in this whatsoever from Caceres. The sub is coming onto the field. Really casual from Brent Coleman here. Certainly he's a foul, but to see yellow there, I think it's a bit harsh.
What's that?
Flicked outside to Hansen. Lines with Budati. And Hansen woke up in a new Budati. And is clapping it up. For Richmond, put it really simply, they get Madison next, so another top 3 team. They're absolutely going to need to defeat Hearts of Pine. Absolutely need to. That's 2 games down the line. You're getting, at that point, to 10 games remaining. They're within 3 points of you. Chattanooga at the line is 13 points clear. The adage being that if there are more points between you and the goal than games remaining, it's probably out of reach. Doubly so with how many teams sit between Richmond and the playoff line. So if you get something out of Madison, that's great. But this rather upcoming game with Hearts of Pine this coming Saturday, gotta have it.
It's 4 out of the 6 at home at City Stadium as well. So if you are Brian Ownby, I had a conversation with him about it. Said, want our players just to focus on the game at hand, let the staff worry about the games ahead. A lot of work to be done. Like you mentioned, that Portland Hearts of Pine match is massive for their playoff hopes.
Anderson. Icing inward. Or touch. Gutierrez on the run out. Omaha is not content. Gutierrez. All the way over to Gavilanes. Rips it off Hansen.
That's another presented by
like the battle of the line is starting to break apart in League One. We've got Spokane, Alta, and Chattanooga all within 1 point, and Boise sitting on 34, just 2 points ahead of 6th and 7th. Chattanooga's the line. Driven across, Tello Foss a touch, but didn't guide it through. Got Corpus Christi and Fort Wayne, both within a game and a half of the playoff line. They've got this precipitous drop to Westchester and the rest of the group from 11 down. Still a ton of points left to be had, but we're getting to the point where you're going to need to start ripping off a series of wins if you're in that lower group. Budati.
Right to Gavilanes for the tap-in. Overpowering Omaha. 5-1 over Richmond.
A lot of the Union Omaha work has come through this right-hand side of Yunus Boudadi, and he's done a great job at being patient, but most importantly, putting the ball that puts pressure on this back line of the Richmond side. De Leon can't do enough with it to push it away, just a gift. Gavilanes, who in the end has worked extremely hard and deserves this goal. Domination from Union Omaha here at home.
Had to wait till the end to get it, but the just dessert for Alan Gavilanes. 3 added minutes in a game that's now fully out of hand.
And it's still Agenda Candela really passionate, wanting his side to close down space and win their individual duels. That's how you set a culture, that's how you build a culture, and the standard to never allow complacency to creep in.
Panholzer. Oh, there. Those are nice chairs. Let's call the game there next time.
Yeah, those are.
Oh. You think Vincenzo Candela's thinking we can't afford a lawsuit from Jaden Daniels, we need 6? I think, doesn't that seem like the best place in all of Omaha right now?
These chairs right here?
Yeah.
When you
Look
say
at that.
80 degrees outside, perfect summer night
Yeah.
in Omaha. Halftime, we had some of that, crisp, delicious popcorn.
Yeah, well, look, I'm just reading the box. Johnson for Kirkland. Sweeps it through, the save, the follow, never got through from Johnson, who appeared again. Cole Jensen allowed the 1 goal. Eat your heart out, Jaden Daniels. Here comes Omaha. Oh, wide.
The work rate from Sammy Gadiri, immaculate, but in the end, he knows he should be putting this ball across to Botello Faust. At the end, you see left side of your screen, Bata really frustrated. Vincenzo Candela wanted 6.
Yeah, but Kadiri's like, that's my number. Impressive night for Omaha. Really impressive. If you were going to flex your muscle, this is the way to do it. And full time. Union Omaha looked the best in League One on this night. Back to the top of the table, a 5-1 thrashing of the Richmond Kickers.
Deserved all 3 points. Well done from Union Omaha. Balanced performance, really professional performance. And a massive win to push them to the top of the League One table.
First 5-goal performance by Omaha since last September. It is all Omaha tonight. 5-1. The final. We wrap it up after this. USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. post-game huddle. The USL on CBS Sports presented by Best Western. Union Omaha, more than professional performance, a 5-1 win over Richmond and back atop League One. The head coach for the Owls, Vincenzo Candela, joins us from the field. It's Mike Watson, Ricky Lopez-Espin. Look, you spoke about a standard that's expected to be met in Omaha, and goodness, did you guys meet that standard tonight. Thoughts on the overarching performance?
Yeah, I think it's the first half that we wanted. We wanted to create a lot of opportunities. We wanted to score goals. We knew that they were going to come out and press us hard, and I loved kind of the aggression and the desire to get on the end of crosses, to run at them, and I'm super pleased of the entire team for, like you said, not only a professional performance, but one that desires more and shows how hungry this group is to succeed.
Vince, you guys obviously scored 5 goals tonight, 39 on the season. So that's going to get a lot of the headlines. But I want to talk about Gadiri and Budati. Your 2 outside backs do so much for this team. How important are they on and off the ball?
They're massive. Not only our fullbacks, but all of the other 8 guys and the goalkeeper that are on the field with them. We're not a one-sided team. Everyone has to pitch in to defend, and we preached all week about complete performances and growth. We showed, in the middle of April, we lost to this team. And I think if you look at that performance and this performance, you see the growth out of possession, not only from the fullbacks, but from the entire team. And it's wonderful to see.
21 games unbeaten in the regular season at home. What makes this Omaha team so special when they play here?
Pride. We're very proud to represent our community. We want to do right by them. And so that's like I said, that's part of our standard. It's part of our DNA. It's going to be tough to come here, and we want to make sure that everyone knows that you're not going to beat a proud team on the field. We're going to protect our home at all costs, and it's beautiful to see the guys really buy into that.
I got to tell you, Coach, we were watching post-game. Were you going to make it over to us? And we noticed you still got some juice in those legs. You jogged over to us. We appreciate it, man.
Man, listen, I was hoping for a 6 or 7 sub. I might have put myself on the field then.
We appreciate the time and continued success to you and the Owls, all right?
I appreciate you guys, and again, thank you guys for everything you do.
Our pleasure. Union Omaha comes away with a 5-1 win. There's going to be many, many highlights, Ricky, for you to look at now.
And trying to remember all of the goals here from Union Omaha. Sergio Orznoval does a good job to recover after not the best of first touch, but the ability to swoop this ball low and hard to that bottom corner opens up the floodgates for Union Omaha. But this is a really well-worked goal. Starts from Brent Coleman, and the vision and the movement underneath from Gomez. Orznoval pulls out the center back. That allows that space to open up, and it's a classy finish to double the lead early in the second half.
And then in the 38th minute, doesn't hurt to keep adding on to that. It's an own goal from Vinberg in the end.
You put pressure on the 2 center backs of the Richmond Kickers, and you ask them to solve some issues. This is a massive uh-oh moment from Vinberg. And then you started to think, okay, for Richmond Kickers, you needed a little bit of life. You needed a response, specifically before the halftime whistle. Tyler Freeman says, I'll take the ball, I'll drive and bypass about 3 Union Omaha players, and that allows ball to look at that far post. It's an easy finish for a player of his quality. And you thought the second half was going to be a little bit more interesting because Richmond was going to have the momentum, but you thought wrong. Once Union Omaha started to play quick, when they started to bring in players on the field to impact higher up the field, Botella Foz plays it into Gavillanes. This time Gutierrez gets on the end of it, but just notice the movement, the fluidity, the want. You have 5 players crashing with about 12 yards into the attacking goal. Good ball in from Gavillanes, and Gutierrez says, thank you, I'll put it in the back of the net.
And then an Omaha special. They lead the league in goals in the final 15 minutes, tack one on in the 90th.
Budati from his right back position was fantastic at providing service. puts the ball in between the center back and the goalkeeper. A little bit of confusion. Filion doesn't do well enough. Cavallana says, I'll just tap it home to get the 5th for Omaha.
So Union Omaha now 2 points clear of Charlotte atop the standings, 5 points ahead of forward Madison. Every team near the top has 12 or fewer games remaining. Here are the final stats. Chance for your final thought.
Domination from Union Omaha from minute 1 to minute 93. But for Brian Ownby, if you're going to be a team that wants to press, you need to press together. That's going to be the next step in the progression from the Richmond Kickers, because they've shown glimpses, but doing it over a course of 90 minutes, it's going to be the next step.
Coverage continues on CBS Sports Network of USL Championship Wednesday, 10 Eastern. Phoenix and Colorado Springs coming up next. It's PBR Team Series Nashville. Omaha 5-1 win on this night. A dominant performance befitting a team the best in League One, seemingly yet again. For Ricky Lopez-Espin and our entire crew, Mike Watts saying this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Oh, sure. Aye. And then this is being put on the CBS Sports app, which no one... Cool.
Give me 1 second. Let me just have the list of the goal scorers.
My favorite website growing up was cbssportsline.com. The good old days. Correct. Same highlights we just saw, 6 goals. Cool.